We are in Orlah, Perek Gimel, Mishnah 10. Last Mishnah, the Masechta of Orlah, final Mishnah. This Mishnah is going to talk about Dvarim of Safek, Dinim of Safek, in different places. We're going to make you a little chart. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Okay? We're going to talk about the rules of Eretz Yisrael, Suria, and Chut. Eretz Yisrael, we know what that is. Suria, we've learned before. Suria is, let's see if I can Wikipedia this, make this a little smaller. Okay? Suria, the Wikipedia says, as we've seen many times, okay, is a Shmo HaHilchati Shetach B'Gvul Eretz Yisrael. It's a halachic place of an area on the border of Eretz Yisrael. Shnichvash Ayedei David HaMelech V'Supach Ayedo LeEretz Yisrael. That was conquered by David HaMelech, and it was annexed by him. And it has L'Shetach Zeh Ma'amad Beinayim, in a sort of an intermediate area. In some ways it's Eretz Yisrael, and in some ways it's not. Chazal, one of the reasons we say that it's not like Eretz Yisrael is because David HaMelech captured it before he finished capturing the rest of Eretz Yisrael. Nonetheless, so we have, let's go back to our chart, Eretz Yisrael, Suria, and Chut. We're going to have the case of Safek Orlah and Safek Kelaei Hakerem. Safek Orlah, remember, the first 3 years, and Kelaei Hakerem is the prohibited mixture of Orlah, of if you grow something prohibited in the vineyard, that's Kelaim of the vineyard. Says the Mishnah, Safek Orlah, if I have produce that may or may not be Orlah, okay, so I'm going to buy in the market. I see in the market this guy, and I know he has Orlah fruit. I know he has not Orlah fruit. It's a Safek. The Eretz Yisrael Asur, Suria Mutar. Okay, in Eretz Yisrael it's Asur. In Suria it's permitted. I can buy Safek. Chut, and outside of Eretz Yisrael, Suria, remember, is partially Eretz Yisrael, kind of, yes, kind of, no. Chut, and in, Michigan, Yored Velokeach, Ubilvad Shlo Yerenu Lokate. Yored, you can go down, i.e., enter into the field, Velokeach, and buy. Ubilvad Shlo Yerenu Lokate. As long as you don't see the guy, the owner, locate, picking it himself. So let's just understand what we're talking about. We'll read the Bartenura. Okay, Safek Orlah, the Bartenura says, Kagon, Oved Kochavim, Sheyesh L'Tiyot Shel Orlah Beginato. A non-Jew, he has plantings of Orlah. I know that he just planted last year or 2 years ago in his garden. Ubiyado Perot, and he has fruit. So now he's selling fruit. Ve'en Yodua Im Mishal Orlah, Im Mishal Zkena. Is he selling me fruit from the Orlah trees or from the older trees? Eretz Yisrael, the Haves Fake, the Oraita L'Chumra. In Eretz Yisrael, Orlah is a Oraita. Okay, why is Orlah the Oraita in Eretz Yisrael? Let's see 1 second. We look at the Pasuk. Okay, let me make this smaller, because it says, Hitavo el haaretz, unetatem ucholetz machal. It's specifically, the Torah says, it's tavo el haaretz. That's a mitzvah hatluya ba'aretz. So Orlah is specifically referred to or related to mitzvot hatluya ba'aretz. So therefore, it's fake deoraita l'chumra. And therefore, in Eretz Yisrael, it's a safek asur. Ubisuria mutar. Why? The kibush yachid, who, remember, David HaMelech conquered it on his own. Lav shmei kibush. We've learned this before. It's David HaMelech conquered it, and it was never annexed, according to Chazal, in the right way. So in Suria, if you know for sure if you know definitely it's Orlah, it's Asur, but if it's Safek, there were Mutar. In Chut, I could go down and buy B'toch Hagina. I can go into the garden, I can go down, if I'm in his, I'm in his new section, and he's selling fruit in the new section. I can go buy fruits from him, as long as I don't see him do it. Okay, I'm not allowed to pick it myself. I can't see him pick it. I can't know that's definitely Orlah. Then it's Asur D'Rabbanan. But if he's selling fruit, maybe he brought it from over here. Who knows? As long as there's the possibility that it's not Orlah, then it's permitted. Mishnah continues. Kerem Natua Yarak. This is Kerem, okay, which is Natua Yarak. Yarak is vegetable. So now we're talking about a kind of Kelaei Hakerem that's really D'Rabbanan. It's a lesser kind. Because I'm just going to recall, I'm going to remind you. In the Kerem, if I plant grain, that's Asur D'Oraita, it's Asur B'Hana'ah, you got to burn it. But if I plant Yarak, it's still Asur D'Oraita. It's not a D'Rabbanan. Okay, I just checked into that. But nonetheless, the Chachamim did not go there. They were not go there Isur Hana'ah. They didn't have to burn it. Okay, it was still Asur. Okay, so therefore, you didn't have to be burned. It wouldn't go rooted out. So therefore, you have a Kerem Natur Yarak, and we're going to see why that's relevant. Ve'yarak nimka chotzelo, and the guy is, so it's again, the Bartenura explains that the non-Jew is selling Yarak, he's selling vegetables outside of his vineyard. Eretz Yisrael Asur. In Eretz Yisrael, that's Asur. Again, because, we'll see in a second, because it's a Safek D'Oraita. Suria mutar, in Suria it's permitted. Ubechutz la'aretz yored v'locate, and if you're in Michigan or Maryland or London or whatever, you can go v'locate. We're going to see what locate means. Locate usually means pick. Ubilvad shelo yilkot bayad. As long as you don't pick it with your hands. How are you supposed to pick it if you don't pick it in your hand? That's like the bar tenura. Okay. Ubechutz la'aretz yored v'locate. Ha'oved kochavim yored v'locate. The non-Jew, the bar tenura says, it's unclear, the language. The non-Jew can go and pick it. Bifnei Yisrael, even in front of the Jew, Yisrael koneh mimenu. And then the Jew can buy it. You can't pick the vegetables that were planted by the non-Jew in Chutz La'aretz that were planted in his vineyard. But you can't pick it. But if he picks it, Bevad shelo yikot Yisrael biyad. As long as the Jew himself doesn't pick it himself. Okay? So therefore, it's not asur to the non-Jew. But it's asur for you to pick it on your own, even in Chutz La'aretz. So let's look at my chart again. Okay? It's just a little, the same thing, just a little clearer. Okay, actually, some of the gears of Yored V'Lokeach, similar to Yored V'Lokeach, but the halachot are very similar. In Eretz Yisrael, Asur, because, Safek, because it's an Isra, Safek D'Oraita. In Suria, remember, Suria is like Chutz La'aretz, so therefore it's Mutar, okay, because it's a Safek D'Rabbanan, and in Chutz La'aretz, Yored V'Lokeach, as long as there's only like a little bit of a Gzeirah, like even though if you know almost definitely that it's still, that it might be Orlah, Chazal still made a gzeirah. You can't do it yourself. You can't pick it yourself. But you're allowed to buy it, even though you know definitely, if you saw the non-Jew himself, pick it. Okay, there's a little bit of a chumrah for Orlah and Kelaei Hakerem. Now we have two other halachot that have very important ramifications for other isurim, which the Mishnah just kind of gloms on at the end. Last two halachot. Hachadash. Remember we learned, Chadash was, let's look at the Bartuna just to explain. Chadash, does he bring it? No, he doesn't take. Oh, Asur b'chol makom. Yeah, he brings the pasuk. Lechem v'kali. We've learned this before. Lechem v'kali v'karmel lo tochlu ad etzem hayom hazeh ad aviyachem, etc., etc. This is the halacha of Chadash of the Korban HaOmer. If you recall, on Pesach in the Beit Hamikdash, the Korban is brought, and the Torah says that until the Korban is brought, any grain that was grown during the past year is Asur D'Oraita. That's the din of Chadash. Derech Hagav in Chutz La'aretz they are not machmir. They're not careful about they're not strict about the law of Chadash, and I understand why they did it in back in wherever in Russia. They had nothing to eat. But there's a big pet peeve of mine that people are very careful about Chalav Yisrael. They're careful of a lot of things, which is great. But Chadash, this is a Mishnah. Chadash says a Mishnah, Asur min Torah b'chol makom. Very explicit. It is Asur according to the Torah everywhere. Everywhere it's b'chol mashvotechem. Let's look at the pasuk again. He says, why is it Asur? It's D'Oraita. Even in Chutz La'aretz, as it says, wherever you live. So the Mishnah is very, very clear. Now the Kahati explains that this actually is a machloket Tanaim. But all the Rishonim Paskin like this Stam Mishnah, Asur b'chol Torah min Torah, it's D'Oraita everywhere. So you can, I don't know, make cartwheels to try to figure out why it's okay and it's a Safek, etc. It's not really Chadash, etc., etc. But in today's day and age, when you have modern kashrut, you have great power of the kosher industry. There's no reason, I don't understand a reason why, you can't get up one day and say, in 1 year, we're going to be makbid on Chadash and get yourselves in order. The companies would do it, everybody would do it. And it's a Mishnah of Reshet, Chadash, Asur min Torah b'chol makom, everywhere. So I'm not going to, and soapbox. Orlah, halacha. The din of Orlah is halacha. What does halacha mean? Says the Bartanura, halacha l'Moshe misinai she'asur b'chutz la'aretz. There's a halacha l'Moshe misinai that it's asur. V'afal pikein tzveika mutar. Nonetheless, normally, halacha l'Moshe misinai, we're very machmira. Nonetheless, Safek is mutar. Shekach ne'amra halacha l'Moshe misinai. That's halacha l'Moshe misinai. That Orlah is halacha l'Moshe misinai asur, but tzveika is mutar b'chutz la'aretz. Very interesting din, because he has to explain why this beginning of this Mishnah, stuff is be'eretz Yisrael asur and chutz la'aretz mutar. Because that's the din. That's the halacha l'Moshe misinai. V'kelaim midivrei sofrim. Let's go to the Bartina again. Divrei sofrim is the Rabbanan. Divrei sofrim is the Rabbanan. Kelaim are asur the Rabbanan. Dafka Kelaei Hakerem. Okay? That's specifically the Kelaim of the Kerem of the vineyard. Kevan de be'aretz chamiri v'asirim b'hana mina Torah. In Eretz Yisrael it's asur mina Torah. B'chutz la'aretz gazu b'Rabbanan. Therefore in chutz la'aretz the Rabbanan goes there. Ava Kelaei zra'im. This is what I referred to before. But Kelaim of seeds. Not of grain. Eretz Yisrael sharu b'hana. It was permitted b'hana in Eretz Yisrael. B'chutz la'aretz lo gazu behem rabbanan. Chutz la'aretz rabbanan didn't make a gzeira. I know I'm very long. I just want to finish the bartanura because it's very interesting. Harkavat ilan asur b'chutz la'aretz min Torah. Grafting different types of trees, different types of species is asur min Torah. He adds on. Why? Because it says behem techalo tabia kilayim sadchalo tizra kilayim. So it compares behemah, the mating of two different animals, to the grafting of two different types of seeds. Ma behem techa b'har ba'ah sadcha b'har kava. It's just like the behemah is prohibited, whether you're in Eretz Yisrael or Chutz La'aretz. Same thing is true of grafting of trees, whether it's Eretz Yisrael or Chutz La'aretz, which means all the tree grafting that they do in order to get these new species, it's asur for a Jew to do. That doesn't mean once they do it, you're not allowed to eat it. You're allowed, once you have a nectarine tree, you can plant a nectarine tree. But all of these developments of new kinds of species, a Jew is not permitted to do that, even in Chutz La'aretz. All right, this is the conclusion of Masechet Orlah. I hope you've enjoyed. Hopefully we'll see you in Masechet Bikurim tomorrow. If you have any comments or questions, as always, feel free to contact me at rspolter@gmail.com, and we'll dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day.